watching this episode of Walden Wong Inks. Look at this, in Hawaii, chickens are all over the place. Look at that. So please like, share if you haven't done so. Please subscribe. Chickens. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Walden Wong Art. And today we're going to talk about one of the projects that I worked on, Hunt for Wolverine. I just got this recent issue of Hunt for Wolverine, and in here we have I did the backup story, and as a treat today, I'm going to show you the artwork that I've done side by side, the original artwork along with the comic book. So let's check out some of the work here. So here's the comic. Marvel sent me 3 comp copies, so I have 3 of them here. Check it out, very, very cool. We'll just take a look at one. And here I did the backup, inked the backup story over Paulo Siqueira. So let's take a look at the cover first. So here's the Hunt for Wolverine, issue number 1. It's the cover here. Okay, and here it is. There's me, Walden Wong. Well, my last name, actually. So in here I did the backup story. Wolverine died entombed in molten adamantium. The X-Men took his metal encased body and hid it away, keeping its location secret, but nothing stays buried. It was only a matter of time. And then right here, there's all the credits of all the people that worked on this. Let's see, right here, there's me, Hunter's Pride, the backup story, Walden Wong over here. And then I'm all the way right in the backup story right here. So this is the Iron Man page. Take a look at that here. Okay, and let's take a look at the original art. Let's zoom back a little bit so we can see the whole page. So right here, look at the original size of the comic in comparison to the actual page. Okay, this is the actual size we work on, and here's the reduced 67%. So you can look at both the original art as well as the comic at the same time here on my channel. Okay, let's turn the page. Next page is here. This is where Kitty Pryde and Tony Stark talks. So let's look at the next page. Turn here, right over here. Kitty Pryde and Tony Stark. Okay, let's take a look again at the original artwork side by side with the published comic book. Like that. Very cool. Okay, and the next page, let's look at the next page. Next page is Tony Stark still talking to Kitty Pryde over here. So that's this page. This page, I'll put down the comments so you can, well, let's take a look at this first. So some of this here, you can see that the original art is inked, but on this panel, I left it blue line. The reason for that is because the only thing that's changed here is Tony Stark's face. So I've inked everything here, and on Photoshop, what I've done is I'll stack the background. I'll copy the background images, copy these images, and then paste it here. This way, I don't have to ink it twice. I could ink it twice, but it just takes more time. But if you have a deadline, you don't want to fiddle around with doing stuff that you can do quickly on Photoshop. So there's this page. And additionally, this page had a stat. This is called the stat page. The stat page is where there's an image that goes on top of another image. So I'll show you how that looks like on the comic. Now on the comic here, you can see here's Iron Man talking to Kitty Pryde, and here's a hologram of a character. Okay, this hologram is projected over here. Okay, so what we did here was we worked on the artwork, and then separately on another piece of artwork, another piece of Bristol board, we did this, and then the computer colors will take this image and then place it on top of this. If you look here, you'll notice that this panel, there's this blurring effect on this character. That's also done on a computer as well. Okay, so there's that page. Let's look at the next page. The next page is one of my favorite pages that I worked on in this issue of Hunt for Wolverine. So the next page over here, we get to see Daredevil. Daredevil right here with Kitty Pryde. So let's take another look at that. Right over here, nice Daredevil. Okay, you can pause this video if you wanted to read that. Okay, and here is the original art. Now with the original art, it's so much cleaner. You can see every line. you can see every line in the artwork right over here. Take a look at that. Right over here, every detail, even some of the white on some of the bricks. Right, and look at Daredevil. So I personally like looking at artwork in black and white because you can see more details, things like cross hatch lines, some of the rendering, some of the whiteout used here. With the color, it's all nice, but sometimes if colors are a little bit dark, you can't really see all of the details. You just see the general image. So let's look at Daredevil side by side. See that? So look at original art next to comic book pages. You grow an appreciation for looking at the original art, the black and white line work. So let's look at the next page. Next page here is Kitty talking to Iron Man. So there's more of this, and then here is the original art for that. Take a look. Okay, if I turn this here, you can see some of the nice. Look at the line. Look at the line on right over here. You can see all that, but when you look at the original art, some of that disappears. It's not as clear and clean. So here's Kitty, and there's Kitty right over here. Okay, now let's take a look at the next page. Next page is right here. Some of the characters here, everything's colored so dark. I prefer lighter colors so you can see all the line work. Probably because I prefer to see all the line work. Okay, and then let's look at the original art over that. Everything's cleaner, all the lines right over here. So let's take another look. The pencils are by Paulo Siqueira and Inks. Okay, look at that the scorpion thing with this spaceship. Take a look. Very cool. Okay, some more details here. Okay, that's Lady Deathstrike. Yeah, I think that's her. Okay, and then let's compare that with the original comic book size. Again, original art is done 100%, and when we're done, we scan it and we reduce it 67%. I'm going to show you guys a little tip. When I inked this part right over here, the strip, that nice pattern, I didn't go one at a time. I inked the whole strip here, and I used a white gel pen and I created that pattern. That way it's nice and consistent on both shoulders. Okay. Now the next page we have is, let's take a look at the comic. Next page is this one. Okay, this is a nice one. We have Luke Cage here, Spider-Man, I think that's Black Widow, and then here's Wolverine. And as you can see, this is a hologram again. Okay, right over here, Kitty phasing through. So on this page, what happened to Wolverine, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Black Widow? Okay, so let's take a look at the original artwork. Take a look. Here we have it, right over here. Okay, now with the hologram images, the bluish images, that was also done on a stat. So a stat, right over here, the stat was like this. That was done on a separate page, so the colors will have an easier time coloring all this and then placing that file on top of this to create that hologram effect. So one more time, let's take a look at the original comic with all of that image right here, and the original art is this stat page, and that's placed directly on top of that. Okay. And then the next page we have is this one here. We have more characters talking here. Okay, it's a very nice page. Now, as you can see, the last two panels, you see some of the backgrounds is the same. So another reason where I don't really need to ink everything again. So what I've done is I just left something uninked right here. I inked all of the bottom, and then I left some of the top, and then I would just go back in Photoshop and do more work. Move some of the characters here, erase the spaceship here, and then piece everything together. Okay, I inked some of the door because the door opened, some of the textures will be different. Okay, and let's look at the rest of the pages. Look at the taper lines on the hair. Like I like tapering lines, very clean, so there's a nice grayish tone. Okay, here's more of this character. And then the last page of this backup story, one of the pages that I'm pretty proud of and that I worked on, is this splash page of Wolverine being outside of his tomb. Okay, 3 years ago I worked on an issue of Wolverines, #1. Some of you may have the issue of Wolverines #1. Take a look at it. Within that comic, you'll see Wolverine in his adamantium tomb. That was 3 years ago. Fast forward 3 years now, I get to work on Wolverine. Now it's a cracked tomb like this. So let's take a look at the original art right over here. Put this right over here. Okay, and take a look at some of the inks. When you look at original art, if I put it to a glare, you can see how some ink areas is thicker than the other. Like, look at the sheen on that. So I use speedball ink, and I just go back and I apply a lot of ink. I'll just take a brush and then I'll dip it, and I'll just go back. Pretty much I'm scribbling this way, scribbling that way. When it dries, I'll go back in and add another coat. If someone were to buy this piece of original art, I would dip ink again and then make it really nice black. So when I do commissions, I usually go back maybe 3 layers of black, but with comic book, I'll just add 1 layer. Okay, now here's this page. Okay, this only took me a few hours, this character, and then this tomb here took me a few hours. All the rocks down here took me much longer, and all the details here. Okay, there we have it. Take another look, and there it is. Okay, the tomb, and let's take a closer look at the tomb. All the hatch lines, cross hatch lines, the sheen of the adamantium metal, all the textures, everything is inked differently just to create that textured look, as well as the base up here. I also use whiteout for some of the effects. Some lines are thicker. Now let's take a look at the published version, which is a 67% smaller, just like that. Okay, so there you have it. Here's the rest of the page. Here's the Hunt for Wolverine comic. Check it out in stores if you haven't seen it. Look for it. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. And there you have it. That's the Hunt for Wolverine, the backup story that I did on this issue. So here's some of the comic box. If you haven't done so already, go to your local comic book store and see if you can find any of these copies. There should be some copies left because this was a pretty popular issue. Go through the comic, see if you can go back to this video and see if you can find some of these pages in the comic. Please share, like, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. I'm also on Patreon, links below. You can go there and see some of the content that I put up that I don't put anywhere else on social media. So until then, see if you can find Wolverine. Here's the cover. I can find Wolverine. Wolverine's right here. Let's put this on. There. I'm Wolverine. Dropping brushes everywhere.